Hi, this is Jack from Alpha Charts with a stocks to watch video. Today is, let me see, May 30th, 2021. Before we get started, this video is for educational purposes only. These are not recommendations to buy, sell, or hold any stock or security. And I may hold positions in some of the equities mentioned. Know your time frame and risk tolerance. Okay, a couple of housekeeping things real fast. First one is I did a Inside the Trader's Head video with Oliver Kell yesterday. It's out on YouTube. Oliver Kell is the 2020 U.S. investing champion. He really shared a lot of information, a lot of knowledge with us. So definitely check that out if you haven't seen it yet. Also, on June 12th and 13th, TraderLine is putting on a free annual conference. The speaker guest is just insane. And again, I'm just going to go through a bunch of these speakers. I mean, and there's more that have been added since. Pretty awesome. I am going to be speaking about a topic also, but again, I'm looking forward to. I mean, these guys are just amazing. I mean, look who's on here, just unbelievable. So again, TraderLion annual conference, June 12th and 13th. It's free. Sign up for it. Should be a fantastic event. Really, really awesome. Looking forward to that. And the last thing is, again, if you like these videos, please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. It really does help me out, and I do appreciate it. And again, like and subscribe. Thank you. All right, let's get into these names. First off, let's talk about the Qs. Again, I go into deep dive into health of the market in my state of the market, which I put out every video, which I put out every Saturday. But the short version is we're in a channel, right? And it's higher highs and higher lows in this channel. Everything is healthy. We have a new moving average crossover. Things are moving higher. Everything looks great. Going to a monthly chart, I just want to make this just make you guys aware of this area right here. So if you take a fib extension from the 2000, this is 2000 high to the 2000 and 2002 low right here, it basically comes up to 371. Again, this may not be perfect. Let's see if I can just adjust this for a second. That maybe looks a little better right there. So maybe 368-ish, right? Now let's go to a daily chart and see where we're at in relation to that. So here's the channel we're talking about. And here is at 368, 369, 370-ish area, somewhere in here. And that coincides with, I don't know, mid-June-ish. So we do have about 11% or so, 10% to the upside before we hit that fib level, the 1.618 extension from the highs and lows that I showed you. I don't know if this is going to be an important area or not, but it's an area that now has two things on my radar: top of a channel and an important extension from an extremely important area. This is, again, that's mid-June. So we have a couple weeks till that happens. I don't know if price is going to come up here or not, because obviously I can't see the future. But I do know that if we start to drift higher and get to this area, I will become much, much more cautious just because we're in this area. It doesn't mean I'm selling everything, but I do think that this area could provide some issues right over here, okay? So again, just be aware, put on your radar. Now let's start why you're here. I have 21 names of my stocks to watch list that look really good, trying to pick for you the best of the best setups. I think some of these will be the next true market leaders of tomorrow, and maybe they've already started. I have 4 on my jet fuel scan that I think look pretty good or setting up in some way. And I have 5 to keep on your radar. These are longer term ideas. They're still loose and extended, but they are going to be leaders at some point. I just don't know exactly when. So I'm watching these names. Okay. So let's get started. Okay. First off, again, some of these I showed you last week, like FedEx. It's still making its little cup and handle, nice little handle, trying to move higher, good accumulation. I mean, if this is not a picture perfect setup, I don't know what is. Doesn't mean it's going to hit. It could roll over tomorrow and move down, but this is as picture perfect as it gets. UPST, this one almost can make it on the one to watch longer term. It is extended and it has lockup expiration on 6/14. So that could be a problem for this name. Did try to move higher, got to these all-time highs, and then it's kind of retraced. So it's definitely one to watch, but I think Upstart looks good. CELH, Celsius, making this base, kind of a double bottom-ish. It didn't undercut it, but it doesn't have to. But making a double bottom. Again, may need to consolidate here a little bit and then move higher. That's CELH. ELAN, Elanco, which is a pet med company. And again, just looking longer term, here's from the IPO, just a gigantic IPO base. This was back in 2018. So it looks good. It's trying to break out. It's got the last little bit left. Again, some nice volume coming in, and just looking at this, just a nice little consolidation right there. That's Elon. Next up, CrowdStrike, CRWD. First off, earnings this week, so be careful. But it is a beautiful base, and if it could break out beyond this 230-ish area on earnings with volume, that could be a great place to be involved. Tenable, TENB. Again, making this kind of basey area. I was thinking it was going to come back and retest. It hasn't done it yet. Doesn't mean it's not going to. Again, a little bit extended, but if it can, either go sideways, let the moving averages catch up and then break out, or retest a little bit and then break out with a higher low and a breakout, that would look pretty good. TENB. CHX, it's like a mini version of that FedEx chart, right? Nice accumulation coming in, beautiful cup and handle, high handle right there. Looking pretty good, kind of getting tight in here like that. CHX. CLVT. Clarivate. This one, again, a little bit loose of a chart, but it's hard to ignore these gigantic volume signatures in here. So, looks like it's trying to base out. It may come back and make some kind of inverted head and shoulders. Maybe it just makes a VCP type action and the pullback is small. Again, I think it needs to pull back or consolidate, let these moving averages catch up a little bit, but this one looks really nice. That's CLVT. A bunch of miners look good. Greg Krupinski on Twitter go ahead and highlighted the silver miners and the SIL and SILJ in a video over the weekend. Check that out if you haven't yet. But a lot of the miners look like this, which is kind of bull flaggish, pennant, whatever you want to call it. Very organized in its pullback. I like that a lot. So this is Newmont. Nice little setup right there. Again, may need a little bit more time to chop around and let this 23-day catch up, but it's looking pretty good. Also, we want to do wheat and precious metals. Again, gold and silver miners are looking nice. Here's wheat and precious metals, and looking longer term chart, we're going all the way back to here's 2011, right? And it's now trying to break out here, retrace a little bit, and now it's back here trying to break out again. All right, again, each retracement is not is higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low. So that looks nice to me. Again, if you look too, again, people are starting to position in this name. So I think precious metals look good. The last one in this group is Kirkland Lake. There's others though. Look at the whole GDX and SIL and SILJ and GDXJ and all that kind of stuff and see which ones you like. But again, here is Kirkland Lake. Again, beautiful accumulation going on in this name. Again, just consolidating. This one actually is consolidating a little bit nicer than even Newmont, but they both look great. So pick your poison. LTHM, Livent Corporation. This one had the breakout with volume right over here. And then the pullback was on much lower volume. So definitely like that. This is, I believe, a pocket pivot. Looks like it. So that looks really nice. And I wouldn't be surprised if this makes it up to at least all-time highs, right? Who knows what happens when it gets up here, but LTHM. Next up is FLL. This is Full House Resorts. Again, perfect VCP pattern, right? Then there's your breakout. Again, this candle I don't love, so let it come back. Let it go ahead and test, 1050-ish, right? Let it come back into these moving averages and let them catch up. And then you have a beautiful risk reward set up, right? Right now it's kind of extended. Wait, be patient. right? It's right here for you. If you like the setup, FLL. Devon Energy, DVN. You know, they say inflation is back. I think we're seeing that a little bit as some charts are showing, you know, like energy names right there, trying to break out. Nice big base going back a few years. A lot of energy names are kind of like this too. So again, look at the XLE, look at the OIH, you know, see the constituents, pull up every single one of them in a chart and see what it looks like. But this looks really nice, just kind of consolidating, trying to move higher, decent accumulation in there, DVN. TIGR, TIGR, this is Up FinTech. It's a Chinese name, so just be careful, right? We all remember LK, Luckin Coffee. Not saying this is LK, but position size accordingly, right? Just in case. Beautiful base, amazing volume coming in. I think that this can easily get back up to all-time high. That was at a 50% move or so to the upside. Nice. Again, maybe a little extended at this point. Maybe needs to move sideways or pull back just a little bit, but looking great. TIGR, Big Brother FUTU, FUTU, looks, in my opinion, even better. Probably got a little bump from that Tiger move and the earnings move of Tiger, Up FinTech, or whatever it's called. But again, double bottom looking pattern. Again, it's not confirmed until we get above 168, 169. But at the very least, I think we get to 168, 169 to try to test this area. A nice moving average crossover up here. Yeah, looks pretty good. Not too extended at this point. A little bit, but not too bad. That's FUTU. Palantir, PLTR is on my list. Again, I don't love this candle on Friday, right? Obviously, you know, it gapped up looking amazing and then kind of sold off. And this is the VWAP from the IPO. So I don't love that, but I do like this moving average crossover. I do like that, you know, if it pulls back, you know, early in the week, retest whether it's 2150 or a little bit higher, 2175. Let it retest that area and then hold and then start moving higher. And then you have that great risk reward entry. So that's what you're looking for, you know, let it come back a little bit. Then once it holds and starts moving higher, then you can maybe use the VWAP or moving averages or whatever you want as your stop. But overall, it looks great. That was PLTR, REZI, Residio Technologies, newer IPO name. Let's just go to weekly. Here it is on the weekly. This was IPO'd in 2018, it looks like. But on the weekly chart, I mean, just a beautiful, just gigantic 2-year base, right? Now it's kind of just consolidating nicely. Listen, could this roll over? Absolutely. Hasn't proven anything yet. But going back to the daily, we're looking at it. If it breaks out with volume over 3150, you got a beautiful place to manage risk. We do have a moving average crossover. I think that's a bullish sign. Again, it's held right here too. The 9-day held. And again, you're seeing higher lows, higher low from this bottom. We can throw a VWAP on right there. That's the bottom. You know, that's another potential area that if you want to see that hold, it kind of held here. You know, it's not even being touched here. It held here on a closing basis. So there you go. That's REZI. So I'm going to throw Plug Power in this, and it's been a big dog since the top, $73, right? It's got a, let's see, top to bottom. It has a, oh, no big deal, 75% drawdown, right? But it's got a little bit of a change of character now, right? You know, so this trend line, I'm sure I could draw one, something like this, right? That looks like a decent trend line right there. Broke right here, kind of retested and held. Moving average crossover here, VWAP from the bottom, coming up, still down here. Again, probably will come back and maybe test one of these moving averages or the VWAP from the bottom. Maybe this needs, you know, some kind of inverse head and shoulders to make a bottom. Maybe it rolls right back over. But again, I would think that again, had earnings too, which is kind of nice to see. But I think a little pullback right here into the moving averages, and I would manage risk against, you know, 2850, maybe this low. If you know, if it pulls back some, you could do it against this low. Maybe you want to do it against the VWAP from the bottom. You know, again, it depends on what your risk tolerance is and how much it pulls back and where you think that that it may potential hold or if it proves higher. That's Plug Power. Next up, LPRO, Open Lending. So this one is kind of loose, right? But I do love this accumulation in this, yeah, as it's kind of consolidating in here. And it had a gigantic uptrend, right, since the IPO. I mean, that's really, it went from, a $13 name to a $43 name, right? And now it's just moving sideways. We do have the moving average crossover. For me, like, it has to get above $42, $43. But I think this one could potentially, if it breaks out, this would be the place to manage risk against LPRO. My last one in this section is NVCR. So this day, obviously, and I've talked about this name before, is the take notice day. Gigantic volume, 50% move higher. We did undercut that a little bit, but then it just rebounded beautifully. We have a moving average crossover. We have some accumulation coming in. I think 210-ish is a place to manage risk against, 209, 210. So I like this one. Again, it may need to chop around a little bit. Again, that's a lot of movement here. So this sideways is not totally unexpected. But I think, you can manage risk against, you have a bigger time frame, 170. That's not mine. I mean, then you could say, okay, well, I'm going to do against, 185. Okay, that wouldn't be mine either. I would want to see this kind of chop around some, let these moving averages catch up. Again, a little bit too much white space. And then the breakout here. That's what I'm looking for. So again, one, I am watching to see what happens this week. All right, that's NVCR. So jet fuel scan, I have 4 names on this one. First one is Arch. I talked about Arch before. It had its finally this week. It did have that nice move higher. Again, you can kind of see it moved higher. It came back. It tried to sell off, but it sold, and it did in the morning. But then buyers stepped up. So I think that is really important. Also, notice the volume, much lower volume as it tried to sell off. Big green bars accumulation in this base. This one looks like it has a lot of potential in it, right? I like it above, this particular area. It's now above it. This were back in 2019, 2020, we'll call it. So it's a over a year base, a year and a half base. That's pretty good. Has a VCP-ish type look to it. Yeah, I think this one's long. I am long this one, and I hope to that this one keeps moving higher, right? We'll see. But it is my jet fuel scan. So remember, when I position one of these names, it's always a smaller position size because I expect higher volatility. MYTE, this is a newer name that I really kind of like. Above this VWAP from the IPO, right? Again, it's moved kind of big move there. Now it needs to move sideways. Again, clear up this white space. I think that this week it could, as long as VWAP kind of holds at $31. I like that, especially if we can get this 23-day to catch up and tighten up in here, and then the move higher. We'll love to see that. That's MYTE. TDUP, which is TDUP, whatever that is. I wanted to see, after this big move here, a pullback and then a move higher. Well, the market didn't care what I wanted, and it just kind of kept moving higher, which is great, locked me out. But now it's kind of moved sideways in a range, right? Here's my range. Here's the sideways. And I'm going to just kind of clear up this because it just didn't happen. But what do I want to see going forward? Well, I see this VWAP from the IPO starting to move higher, and I see white space that's starting to get tightened up. So I do want to see these moving averages come up here and tighten up. Maybe this kind of can consolidate or drift lower into them, and then a next move higher. And I think above a close above, 25, 30, 25, 45, whatever, somewhere in there, 25, 50. I think a close above there, and this could potentially start its next move higher. Nice accumulation in this name also. And I'm still involved in Lovesac, LOVE. Again, it's started to break out of this little cup and handle type base, moved higher, bigger volume, pull back on Friday, lower volume. I mean, just what you want to see. I still have this position, and everything is still trending higher. A beautiful space. Every time it gets extended, it does pull back, right? Then it kind of creates and moves higher. And I wouldn't be surprised if you get a little pullback, maybe a little bit more, let these moving averages catch up, and then it kind of moves higher. All right. So that was my 4 for the jet fuel scan. And here's 5 names that I am watching because I think they could be big winners. I think Upstart could be in this group too, even though I had it earlier in my video. I wouldn't be surprised. Again, it's a new enough name and it's a little bit loose still, and I think it could pull back, especially with lockup expiring. So I'll say there's 6 names. We'll include Upstart, but you got to look at Roblox, right? Again, it's a loose name, way too extended, not the place for it, but we have to watch this one because this one could definitely move. I think APP, another newer name, kind of sold off when it started and then found the bait, found a bottom just under $50 and has gone up, 50% from the bottom. So big move. Again, not quite, too loose, moving too fast, too crazy, but one to watch. OLO, OLO, again, newer name. Trying to make this IPO base. Again, kind of loose, move too fast off the bottom. Let's let it kind of tighten up some. One to watch. DOCN, Digital Ocean. Again, loose, lots of wicks and people go on both sides. Needs to tighten up. Maybe a little tightening up in here though, right? So maybe it's starting to show something if it can break out above, I don't know, 42.75. But this one maybe tightening up a little bit, but still a lot loose and a lot of wicks. One I'm just watching longer term. And the last one is going to be Coinbase. Not this. So its high was all the way at 430. Where now, its low is at 207, right? It's dropped more than 50%. It's still in this downtrend, still in this channel. I don't know where it's going to bottom, but I do think that crypto is going to be around for a long time, and they are positioned to be, one of the people that's going to provide it to people. So why not be involved? And they're going to make money on every transaction. So eventually, this is going to make an IPO base. Do I know when? No idea. Can it go lower? Absolutely. But it's one that I am watching to see if it could start tighten up, firming up, maybe get, we got some moving averages now. They obviously need to tighten up together and get out of this downtrend, but definitely one I am watching. All right. So a little recap, I think this market is in an uptrend. I think we do have space to the upside, even if I am watching this area, whether it's June or, middle of June or later, right? Could be later, just because I drew these lines here. Doesn't mean the market's going to respect them. But it's just an area that I am watching. And when it does, reach this 368 to 370 level, I'm going to take notice and see what the price action is at that point. With that being said, don't forget Trader Lion Conference 2 weeks from now. It's free. Lineup is just ridiculous, right? And I'm going to learn so much from this one. So again, sign up for that. My Inside the Trader's Head with Oliver Kell was out just yesterday. Again, amazing stuff. US 2020 investing champion. This is a chance to learn from the champ, right? So check that out. And of course, like and subscribe to my channel because it helps me and I do appreciate it. Thank you all very much. And don't forget, it is Memorial Day weekend. And the real reason for Memorial Day is to honor the men and women who have died for our country and given us the freedom to live here and to trade stocks and to do what we want to do when we want to do it and pretty much how we want to do it. So just remember Memorial Day and the real reason for that. Y'all have a great weekend. Thank you.